Good morning, Brother Kofi.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So it's just me and you for now, eh?
Yes. How's the weather there like?
It's quite good. It's not been it's been raining a lot over the past several days. I think it's supposed to rain sometime later this afternoon, but it's not been very heavy rain, you know, maybe just 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then that's the end.
Yeah.
For me, it's good. You know, I don't have to go out and water my flowers or anything like that. So
yeah,
it's all right. How are things in Valdosta?
We also had similar weather here in the past week, but this week has been fine.
Yeah.
Always the weekend has been good.
That's right. There was that, I think, hurricane that came in sometime last week.
Yeah, Elsa.
Yeah, Elsa, exactly. We had some heavy rain, but that was it.
Yeah.
So your one of your daughters is an athlete, eh? In the
yes.
track star.
I wouldn't say star. She's just starting.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, you have to project into the future. Track star. So we'll see a Ghanaian born athlete sometime in the future. That's good. Great.
I was reading about the past Olympic athletes in Britain, and there was one Kwachi, who was a 100-meter runner in the Olympics, 1984 Olympics or so.
Yeah, there have been quite a few really over the years, but you know, we ourselves, we haven't done very much to bring them out. But there have been quite a few athletes with Ghana background, going all the way into the maybe the very early part of the 20th century, 1900s, or perhaps even a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
and it's not just in track, you know, in soccer, in boxing, especially, you know, there have been quite a lot.
Yes.
But it's only recently, I mean, seeing black people playing soccer, you know, professional, it's only very recent. It's only about 30 years old, 30, 35 years old. That they started, you know, featuring black athletes in soccer. But they have always been there, you know, some very good ones.
Brother Yan and Brother Felix, good morning.
You are muted, huh?
Yeah, it's good. It's good afternoon here.
Okay, if here too is good afternoon. It's afternoon here.
In the US, it's good morning.
Yeah.
It's good afternoon here. In Ghana.
Yeah, in Ghana, it's afternoon.
And in the UK, it's afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, Brian, you are still in UK, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
Maybe for the next 2 or more months, yeah.
All right.
And I'm back to Ghana.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for people to join, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's quite early to start, yeah.
Yeah. You have to excuse me. I have to make my coffee to wake up. I'm still trying to wake up.
What's the time there?
It's 7 minutes to 9.
7 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brother Felix, where are you located?
Ghana.
Okay, same place.
Which part of Ghana? Accra?
No, in Elmina.
Elmina, okay.
Yeah, Cape Coast, Elmina.
Where the tourism really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Elmina. I used to teach at Ghana National.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was an old student of National.
Really? What years?
Yeah.
That's I was there 1996 to 98, and then 2003 I left.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was there from 1984 to 86.
Okay. Okay. No. Yeah. It's morning here, so we are still having breakfast.
Yeah.
So you were in which house?
No, I was teaching. I
Are
was
you
a
a
teacher there.
teaching?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which subject, please?
I was a PE teacher there.
PE.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was a student. I did sixth form in National.
National, yeah. Yeah. I was there when the last sixth form completed
Okay.
before they switched to SSS.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was by then teaching French at Agri Memorial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm.
92, 93,
Mm-hmm.
95.
Yeah. Yeah, 93. I was at Winneba.
Okay.
Mm. Drive safe. Bro Felix, is this your first time joining us?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, good.
I didn't know such a platform or forum existed.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had this forum.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Dr. Olsen who introduced me to this forum.
That's good. Hello, Sister Phyllis. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, Phyllis. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Nat too has come. Nat. Hello, Nat.
None. Mm.
Nan. Is it Nana or what?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Nana, welcome. Yeah, it can take hours.
Mm.
Nana,
So,
welcome.
Dr. Are you ready to do the chat room?
Yes, I am ready.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm counting on you.
I will. You can always count on me. How's the weather there like? We heard about
Yeah,
in
there's
other
been
areas.
some thunderstorms and it's a bit cloudy out this morning, but at least here in Ottawa, we're not having the storms yet. Touch wood.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Ngua, good to see you. We've been chatting, but I have not had the opportunity to meet you in person, so this is wonderful. Did I pronounce your name right, by the way? Ngwa.
It's Ngwa. That's
Ngwa.
correct.
Ah, okay, great. Great. Mhm. I understand you actually know my brother, Pajon. I don't know.
I don't think he heard you.
Oh, I don't think he heard. Okay, maybe he's.
You said Pajon is your brother?
Yes.
Okay. I know Pajon very well.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that. So it's good to know. I will definitely contact you when I'm in Ghana next time, because I actually run a guest house on the Ring Road in Accra. So when I'm there next time, I will connect with you. Mhm.
Okay.
I'm surprised people are not coming in. Wow, wow, wow. Why?
I know. Usually by this time we have quite a number of people already on.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
Normally they're
9
coming
o'clock
in.
yet.
Wow, 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 wow.
It's 9. Some people are waking up, some people are moving from
No, but in Ghana, I'm
In
not seeing
Ghana,
the Ghanaians.
it's already 1 o'clock or 2
Yeah.
o'clock over there. So
Yeah, I'm not seeing the Ghanaians. That's what I'm wondering. Or is it that they have no money, so is that they are not coming in? Wow, wow, wow.
well, let's give it a few minutes and see.
Yeah, let's give it 5 minutes.
Some
Yeah.
of our people are
Oh, yeah,
still
they started coming
yet to
in.
come.
Yeah.
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 You see, when you say 9 o'clock, they're going to show up at 9, right?
Yeah. Welcome, Anne.
They're still loading up.
Mhm. Welcome, iPhone. Who is iPhone?
That
Should
is
be
usually.
Is that Kwesi?
Kwesi Bodu.
Kwesi Bodu. Anna? Is it Nan? Welcome.
We're not seeing.
They are
the
muted,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is Nan. Thank you so much. I'm pleased to be here.
Oh, great.
Welcome.
Great.
Welcome.
Thank you. Merci.
Ah, en français, hein?
En français, bien sûr. Un petit.
Is that French?
I'm trying.
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting international.
That's right.
Right.
Well, we usually are. So, I mean, when we're all the way from Australia.
Okay. iPhone is Jackie.
Ah, okay. Great. We will give it a few more moments for people to
Yeah.
come on
Welcome,
board.
Kojo.
Dr. Arthur, you look more like a philosopher the way you sitting with your.
You're
like
muted. So
Yeah, Dr. Arthur is pondering some very important issues. Good morning. Good to see you, sir.
I think
Yeah,
you're
I haven't
muted.
heard you.
Oh, I see. I am muted.
no,
No,
he is
Mr.
muted.
Yes, yeah,
He
good
is
Arthur.
muted, and so we can't hear.
Mhm.
And now has been muted too.
Mhm. Well, so long as they can hear, that's the important thing, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that Nana Nketia? Huh? Or Nokia? Welcome, Nokia.
Okay.
Welcome, Nokia. X20.
Whoever is using the Nokia X20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's give it 3 to 4 more minutes, please.
Okay.
It's just 2 minutes after.
Mhm.
Welcome, Noche X20.
Thank you. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Okay, this is, yes.
What's your name?
Oh,
My
he's
name
our
is,
second speaker, right? Mr. Okuyirinchi.
yes, please.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
very good. Excellent. Good to see you.
Good to see
I
you,
got
Mom.
your information this morning. Great. Mhm.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. It's good to see you too.
Yeah. We're just waiting for a few more people to log on.
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll give them 2 more minutes.
Hmm.
Welcome, Nicholas. Welcome, Nicholas.
He's muted and I don't think he realizes it. He may be responding, but
Mhm. Welcome, Nicholas. Welcome, iPhone. Welcome, Nan.
Hello.
we
Yeah,
Good afternoon,
welcome.
Ian.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you too?
I'm okay. I'm using my phone today.
Okay. Let's see your face.
Uh, why do you need to see my face? Because
We
of
want
the
to see.
phone, my
Mhm.
battery is not very highly charged.
Okay.
And yeah, I
It's
want
not
to
only me who
conserve
wants
it.
to see your face. The others want to see your face. So.
Okay, when
That's
I
fine.
get to a location where I can charge a battery, I'll put a video camera on.
Okay.
Is
We
that
want to
okay?
make sure everybody can
Yeah, that's okay.
conserve their credits to stay on to the end.
Yeah, keep the credit to stay on
Pardon?
to the end.
Mhm.
I said keep the
I don't
credit
know
and
how
stay
much
on to
credit.
the end.
Okay.
Okay. Let's hope the credit lasts.
All
If I
right.
were in the office, then I would have the broadband on, but I don't know how much data I have on the phone.
Okay, no problem, no problem. I'm just pulling your legs. So.
My legs are too long already. You may overstretch them.
Okay.
Okay, I think we better start, isn't it? What do you people think? Yeah.
Yes, I
Okay,
think
let's
so.
start. Yeah.
Respect those who have already.
Come in earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can.
Dr. Thad is here.
We can start.
Great.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So my name is Yen Nyaya. And then I want, on behalf of the Progressive Alliance for Ghana, I wish to welcome you to today's event on tourism. For those of you who do not know about us, I want to briefly tell you who we are. We are a group of progressive organizations and individuals in Ghana and abroad who believe and know that the conditions in the country are such that we need a political party or organization to focus on the real conditions that affect this country, our neo-colonial dependency on Western capitalism. We are a group of people who believe and know that the great Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah practical actions to move us out of dependency of colonialism that has been exacerbated. The present problems that we are in Ghana today was aborted with the coup of 24th February 1966. It is not that there are no criticism in Ghana about what is happening. There are no shortage of criticism of the destruction of our environment through irresponsible mining from both Galamsey and legal miners that is turning our waters into deserts. It is not that people are not critical of the attack on the media. It is not that people are not critical of the killings that has happened or is happening in the country. Recently, the Ejura and the abuse of our people by the military in war. It is not that people are not critical about, in general, about the policies of the MPP and the NDC. That is getting us nowhere. In Ghana today, people are angry. People are angry in the media. You can find the expression throughout the traditional and social media. But what do we do about these frustrations? We are not agonizing by doing something. We have decided not to agonize, but provide an avenue through the PAG as a catalyst towards a genuine people movement for social change. We believe there is a need for us to change the unfair advantage of our relationship with our former colonial masters and Western countries and the US in general. The present new liberal system of exploitation and greed. We believe that one of our main tasks is to ensure that our natural resources are used for the benefit of our people. We believe that there is hope if all of us can come together to chart a way forward for a better future. We implore on you to join this journey. We do not seek anything for our personal advantage, but we are engaged in the process of creating a just and fair society. If you wish to join us, please leave details on the chat area. Without much to do, I'll hand you over to Phyllis, who will guide us through the presentations, comments, and questions. Thank you all for coming on this meeting. Over to you, Phyllis.
Thank you very much, our President, Mr. Yen. I want to welcome you once again. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming from. Again, my name is Phyllis Datson-Bourne. I am the moderator for the PAG Town Halls, and I am coming to you from Ottawa, Canada. Our topic today is Ghana tourism ready for prime time? And we are very fortunate today to have two very experienced speakers joining us who will be sharing their knowledge and expertise on the subject. And I'm certain there will be others in the audience who will participate and contribute during the question and answer and discussion period. Before we start, I want to get into some basic protocols with the Zoom. We want to ask everybody to mute their microphones unless they are ready to speak, to avoid background noise. Also, if you have a question, we're going to take questions at the end. So please put your questions in the chat room, and our Chat manager, Dr. Asola, will be queuing all the questions in sequence and will call them out. So without further ado, let's get started. First of all, I want to remind the speakers that you have up to 20 minutes for your presentation. In the interest of time, we want to make sure we leave enough time for the question and answer period and have others engaging and contributing. And I will jump in 5 minutes or so to the time and give you a reminder if you happen to be going over. So without further ado, I will introduce our first speaker. I received Mr. Ngua's profile first, and so I have allotted the time to him to start the presentation. So let me go ahead and introduce him. Mr. Felix Ngua holds a first degree in French and Russian languages from University of Ghana and a master's degree in tourism from the University of Cape Coast. He worked with the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board as Senior Museums and Monuments Education Officer. He also worked with Winrock International as USAID subcontractor on the tourism project, and also with Ghana Economic Enhancement Program in 2002 as programs manager, and later as country director by the time the project had folded. Mr. Ngua currently runs GhanaEcoTours.com Limited, a licensed tour company with offices located in Elmina Castle. This tour company provides an assortment of tours, including walking tours, customized packages, and ground handling services for individuals, educational institutions, families, and groups. As managing director, his duties include tour guiding, staff training, tour guiding, script development, and tourism research, among others. He was a part-time lecturer with the Department of Hospitality and Tourism, University of Cape Coast, from 2012 to 2016, teaching tour operations. Besides tour operations, he has interest researching into the transatlantic slave trade, Ghana culture, entrepreneurship, and customer service, and has co-authored a book entitled Shackles in Darkness, a handbook on the transatlantic slave trade. His hobbies are gardening, reading, and listening to music. Please go ahead, Mr. Ngua. Unmute, and you're currently muted.
Unmute.
Yeah.
Great. There you go.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be part of this forum. The topic is Ghana tourism ready for prime time? Yeah, so the topic is a question, and my outline for the presentation has 4 parts. So first, I speak on the background to Ghana's tourism, 2, impact of COVID-19, 3, COVID-19 and domestic tourism, then conclusions. With the background, I will touch on the structure of Ghana's tourism, our resources, then tourism statistics, impact of COVID-19. I will discuss the effect of COVID-19 on jobs and revenue. Then COVID-19 and domestic tourism. I'm going to talk about what we have done as a country in the area of tourism within this COVID-19 period to resuscitate tourism. Then the conclusion. In concluding, I will try to answer the question. Background to Ghana's tourism. Tourism is the 4th largest contributor to Ghana's economy. To achieve this feat, Ghana has in place structures to regulate, enhance, and support the industry. The main stakeholders in our structure are: one, the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, MOTAC. They are responsible for policy formulation. Then we have Ghana Tourism Authority, the implementing agency of the government. Ghana Tourist Development Company. They provide an enabling environment for investors interested in tourism in Ghana, both local and international investors. Then we have Hotel Catering and Tourism Training, HOTCAT. They are into manpower development. Then we have Ghana Tourism Federation, GATOF. It is an umbrella of 25 trade associations. And GATOF champions the cause of private tourism associations. So with the GATOF, we have members like Car Renters Association, Tour Operators Association.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, so members of GATOF are Indigenous Caterers Association of Ghana, Tour Guides Association, Chefs Association, among others. For tourism to thrive, we need resources, and Ghana boasts of diverse products such as national parks, natural reserves, scenic mountains, landscapes, rivers, waterfalls. We have historical attractions also. We have historical attractions such as forts and castles, monuments, museums. Our cultural assets also include our festivals, local cuisine, shrines, contemporary art and music. Then we also have man-made attractions such as casinos, conference facilities, dams, and others. As a country, we have been able to use tourism to build our infrastructure, create jobs, and earn foreign exchange. Available statistics show as a country, we were able to attract around 1.13 million international tourists in 2019, as against 956.37 thousand in the previous year. From 2016 onwards, international tourist arrivals have increased overall. Our tourist receipts increased from 2.589 million in 2018 to 3.312 million in 2019, reflecting a percentage change of 27.92. This is ample proof that tourism is an industry to be taken seriously. COVID-19 and its impact. COVID-19 took center stage in the first quarter of 2020 and impacted negatively on international tourism globally. International tourist arrivals fell by 22%, while in sub-Saharan Africa, it decreased by 10%. In Ghana, it was towards the end of March that the government imposed restrictions on visitors entering the country by air, land, or sea as a response to the pandemic. This had a significant impact on the tourism sector throughout 2020, given its heavy reliance on international visitors, and this resulted in significant job losses. According to GTA sources, tourism created over 600,000 jobs in 2018. The pandemic put an estimated 75,000 jobs at risk. This is approximately 46% of our workforce. In the accommodation, food and beverage, and travel and tour operation subsectors, it was estimated 40% of employees went on leave and a further quarter laid off, implying 65% of the total workforce in those sectors were redundant. Tourism revenue was expected to fall by 40% when compared to 2019. It was estimated that the total revenue lost to tourism in 2020 in the region of $171 million. I would like to take this again. Tourism revenue was expected to fall by 40% when compared to 2019. It was estimated that the total revenue lost to tourism in 2020 is in the region of $171 million. According to Gatov, 80% of informal small businesses were out of business, and restaurants lost patronage by 60%. Tour Operators Union of Ghana reported 11,558 expected tourist cancelled bookings, leading to a revenue loss of approximately 5 million Ghana cedis. Now, on COVID-19 and domestic tourism, this is what we have done as a country. As a response to the challenges COVID-19 posed in 2020, Ghana has taken steps to tackle the problems head on. And the measures we have taken to keep tourism afloat in 2021 and beyond are as follows. 1, Ghana has launched a domestic and regional tourism campaign to accelerate the pace of tourism through renewed focus on domestic and regional markets. This campaign was launched at the Labadi Beach Resort in July 1st. And the theme is Experience Ghana, Share Ghana. As a result of the campaign, a 2-decker bus known as Auntie Dede and a mommy truck, popularly known in Ghana as Bone Shaker, were outdoored to run tours to the city center. The objective of the campaign was to accelerate the pace of tourism recovery through renewed focus on domestic and regional tourism. As a result of the campaign, industry stakeholders are offering discounted packages, including tours, accommodation, transportation, and mouth-watering prices to enable the public to experience all that Ghana has to offer in terms of tourism. Some of the activities earmarked include the following: Travel, Share, and Win campaign. With this campaign, people are expected to travel to anywhere in Ghana and share their photos and videos on social media to get a chance to win a prize. Other activities in this campaign include Discover, Write, and Win, Panafest and Emancipation, Taste of Ghana. Taste of Ghana is a gastronomy fair where Ghanaian foods will be showcased. Then we have also Meet in Ghana Travel Show, See Ghana on STC and VIP coaches. Then December in Ghana. The 2 There has been a budgetary allocation of 100 million Ghana cedis to the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture to make tourism accessible and also market the Ghana brand, develop promotion strategies, and reduce the cost of doing tourism business in Ghana. HotCat has revised its training curricula to improve skills of tourism service providers. Besides, the Ghana government is supporting free tourism and hospitality training countrywide to build capacity of practitioners. Recently, Ghana also launched the National Tourism Destination Single Window app. With this app, customers and service providers are brought together in one market. In Ghana, not many people are ICT savvy. So with this app, it is going to make it possible for people to book accommodation and also rent cars, book tour guides, and others. So it is a move that is actually going to propel Ghana's tourism. There has also been several programs, including the National Tree Planting Exercise, dubbed Ghana Goes Green. This is Ghana's attempt to be able to make the earth or the environment sustainable. Besides, museums that were closed as a result of structural defects have now been repaired, and I can give the examples of the whole museums. Then the Usher Fort Museum has also been reopened. On the investment front, the following opportunities are available to all who are interested in investing in Ghana's tourism. We have the Marine Drive Tourism Project. With this project, approximately 215.7 acres of land have been acquired, and this land stretches from the Osu Castle to the city center. 150 acres of the land is out for people or investors who are interested in developing hotel resorts, craft villages, golf courses, restaurants, and others. Apart from this project, there are other several investment opportunities, which includes the provision of tourist transport facility services. Here, I'm talking about luxury coaches with washroom facilities, carriers for charter flights, carriers for domestic flights, cable car infrastructure at mountain resorts, open air guided bus tours, cruise boats of various types to be used on the sea, lagoons, lakes, and rivers. There is also a lot of investment opportunity in air transport. Air connectivity and affordability has been a major challenge throughout the region. However, various developments have been made towards improving air connectivity and opening African skies. This is highly inadequate, but there is growing demand for it by both businesses and holiday visitors requiring quick visits to locations outside Accra. Air transport. It is estimated that over half of international tourists travel to their destinations by air. Connectivity within the region does not serve the interest of trade and tourism. Air service is costly, lacks competition, and is perceived by many to be unsafe. Accessing many of the popular tourism destinations is cumbersome due to limited connectivity. There is a huge market for the following: construction of airports, because the country has vast stretches of flat lands, provision of light engine planes for charter to game parks,
Sorry to cut in, but you have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, thank you. Then also, there is opportunity in the accommodation sector. From research, we need people to invest in camping sites, then also spas and sanatoria for mountainous and beach front areas. The National Hotel Catering and Tourism Training Institute is also planning to set up satellite campuses in all the regions so that it will be easier for those in the service industries across the country to have easy access to training. To conclude, I will say the initiatives outlined above are ample proof to conclude that Ghana is ready for prime time. However, this position could be challenged if we do not take care to control the pollution of our river bodies by galamiseas, the degradation of the Etiwa forest, harvesting of rosewood from the Moli National Park, and many others. On this note, I will say thank you and bring my presentation to a close.
Thank you very much. That is a lot that you have unpacked there, but we are going to go straight into the presentation of our second speaker. And following that, we will open it up for the question and answer and the discussion and other contributions. So bear with us, everybody. I will introduce our second speaker. Oops, sorry. I'll introduce our second speaker and go ahead with his presentation. Our second speaker is Mr. Auku Yirinchi, a Ghanaian by birth. His first encounter with tourism was at the Hotel Catering and Tourism Training Institute, where he was trained as a tour guide and did further training in tour operations. In 2003, he completed a degree program in tourism and travel agency management from Cambridge College, UK. An entrepreneur and tour coordinator, Mr. Yirinchi has been practicing professional tour guiding since 1999, leading mostly international tourists, university summer programs, and special interest groups, among others. In 2003, he was awarded Best Tour Guide of the Year. He is currently president of the Tour Guides Association of Ghana and a council member of the Ghana Tourism Federation. There's so much more, but in the interest of time, I will simply let Mr. Yirinchi share his thoughts and insights with us himself. Please go ahead. You have 20 minutes or up to 20 minutes, and we will then go into the question and answer session. Thank you. Where is, there you go.
Thank you very much, and I'm grateful. Am I being heard, please?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And before I go on further, I would like to thank my colleague, Brother Felix, for giving the statistics and also the basis for which all these topic needs to be. So I do not need to go back because he's actually given us the foundation that we need. What I will talk about is to also bring in things that we have done as a country after the COVID from 2019 all the way to date. As a council member of the Ghana Tourism Federation, more or less the government engages the Ghana Tourism Federation, which was mentioned by my colleague as an advocacy group for all the industry players. So usually what happens if the government has all the government policies, all the government ideas, meetings, etc., anything that the government intends to do, the government engages Ghana Tourism or GATOF on behalf of its members. So it's at that point where decision making is arrived at, is at a point where the ministry or the government with these ideas is, it brings it forward, and then we'll have that discussion. So I would like to first talk about what we have done as a country since COVID. And I know my brother Ingwa has mentioned so there's no need for me to go over, but there are a few things that I would like to highlight on. First of all, when in 2019, one of the first things that the government did was first of all to provide the usual protocols, the knowledge of protocols that is needed for industry players to be able to observe, live by, and also survive within the country. Beyond that point, the government also brought in all these hand sanitizers, gloves, and etc. And there was continuous education. But for us to be able, for the government, for the ministry to be able to provide all these things, there was a need for the ministry to know how many of these industry players it has in the country. You're referring to how many tour operators you have, how many hotels you have, how many restaurants you have, the local restaurants, catering, and how many of them. And at one point in time, they had to agree that that data was missing because they couldn't quantify how many of them were available. And these are all issues that came up at me, because before you will be able to provide any assistance to the industry players, you should be able to know how many of them. So that was one thing that we realized, that those were unavailable. So therefore it became a bit difficult for the government to help, even though they did the help. I realized that in the absence of that, it made it quite difficult. The other point too, the government had to financially help the industry players. Now, what it did was that it needed this data again. Then this data again to be able to know how many of them. In fact, all the industry players, though we have, but some of them don't even, sometimes data on that was difficult. Whether the industry, whether their businesses was properly registered, whether they have the right document, payment of tax, etc. All these things were difficult things that the government will have to unravel to be able to know those who qualifies to get some of these grants and then financial help. So there were a series of meetings and etc. on these, and these we had to conclude this. And in spite of all these things, there's a need for that. Now, as Felix mentioned about the difficulties of some of our people in accessing the internet, or the knowledge-based teams of how they can use the internet to their benefit. That also came up when that financial, the funds that the government had available to be given to them. And we realized that those who had the opportunity to even access it, because of how far away they are from accessing the internet, it was even difficult for them to do it. To the extent that some of them even had to contract these contractors. At the point in time, they realized that the contractors themselves couldn't help them. They end up paying monies, and on these monies never came back. So those were the challenges the government faced at that point in time. Now, you also notice that at the ministry, every minister that comes definitely will have his own policies. Now, these government policies may be there because over the years, one have participated in a series of programs as such as PPEs, public-private partnership with the government, several other programs that is meant to expand the industry, that is meant to grow the industry, that is meant to project the industry, that is meant to open the industry to, for other investment, which was mentioned by my brother, investors, others to come in. But we notice that there was a bit of a challenge as well. So from 2019, what we've done so far is, first of all, with the data collection was also one challenge. And then the funds that were also given to the industry players, the funds went out all right, but not all of them were able to access the funds. There are others who got the funds who we know that were not qualified, but in one way or the other, they got it. And those who were qualified didn't get it anyway. Then we had, from there, we had the current minister, Dr. Awal, coming to say that he thinks that the current standard of tourism right now is unfair. Being fourth, he doesn't think that is right. So he wants tourism to become #1 in the industry. By so doing, he wants at least the tourism sector to earn about $5 billion to the country. And he believes that we can have it. We believe that we have the potential to do it. We have what it takes to do it. So one of the things he decided to do was to engage all the industry players. In fact, I did applaud him by telling him that he is the only one, the only minister who has mentioned the role of tour guiding in the tourism industry during his vetting in Parliament, because he realized how important the role of tour guiding is. Because in spite of all that we do, the market, the digital marketing, what we have to do, selling and all that, you will need one particular person who will ensure that all the marketing we've done, that particular person will ensure that he is able to translate all that into experience. And that is a tour guide. So I applaud him for that. And he said that there's a need for us to train more tour guides in the industry. Tour guides in English, tour guides in other languages, and tour guides in different themes, because those who come into the country do come with, they have certain vision, they have certain ideas. So we should be able to train individuals who will be able to help these tourists and be able to help, especially when it comes to the educational programs, when it comes to conferences and all that. If you don't have individuals who understand the system, it's very difficult. So he said that he needed to have training for all this. So, and I said, I applaud him for that. Now, beyond that point, what he's done that Felix has mentioned as the domestic tourism drive. The domestic tourism drive, I would say that this is not the first time we've had a domestic tourism drive. We've had a domestic tourism drive, I think since 1997. There was a first major program. There was another one around 2003, where we had to station a bus at one of the important areas in Accra, encouraging others to go on the bus for domestic tours. But you and I know one thing is that one of the difficult things in terms of domestic tourism is that the Ghanaian feels that he knows his environment. The Ghanaian feels, so it is quite difficult to say that, listen, let's go on show, because he tells you, listen, I know where you want to take me to. I know where, but you need to do further marketing, further convincing for them to get on board so that you'll be able. So his idea is that we need to take domestic tourism further. So he thought that with the domestic tourism, instead of having Ghanaians traveling to Dubai and other places, he believes that we should be able to do domestic tourism. And he took the inspiration from Kenya, of course, when the unfortunate incident happened in Kenya. We believe that Kenyans dependent on their domestic tourism to sustain their tourism. And he thinks that we should be able to do so. We should be able to do so. And that is part of the evidence, was part of the statistics that my brother gave. The other thing that he feels that our impact in our sub-region is not good. Our French-speaking countries, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, and around, feel that he feels that we haven't done enough. We don't get to travel to these areas, and they also don't get to come to Ghana. If they have to come together, it means that it is on business-to-business basis. Now, his idea is that he had meetings with them, and according to him, his idea is there's a huge complaint. The complaint is that the Francophones think that we don't respect them. And the idea is that there are no inscriptions in French when you come to Ghana. Now, if you have this inscription, definitely these inscriptions will help with locations, with instructions at restaurants and all that. And if the French feel that if we have these in place, that for them it means that we are thinking of them. So it became the minister's wish that he is going to ensure that every area, directional signs, restaurant, hotels, car rentals, whatever inscriptions you have in front or the entrance, you must have a French version as well. It could be a hello, welcome. Then at least you can have the person know that, listen, you're thinking of me. He also believes that when you go to restaurant, definitely some of these restaurants must have French menus, etc. And these could help. So when that happens, what we'll be doing, that means that one feels that I will be welcome over here. And these are all new government policies from the minister towards what he feels that we should be able to use tourism as a way to encourage others to come into the tourism sector. Now, one of the difficult things is that, one of the challenges, is that we have seen a huge decline in the enrollment of the study of tourism in some of our institutions. Because sometimes the idea is such that when the students come out of the university, the jobs sometimes are not available, and they feel that we need to do more. So one of the ways is to encourage others to study more of tourism and invest in another institution, is to base it on these domestic tourism, to get the interest up, to also encourage others that tourism is not only travel to see, but there are other themes, other things that one can use to get into tourism, and that will help boost more tourism in terms of employment in the sector. One other thing is that training is one of the important things that we talked about.
I don't quite understand it, but if that's what he wanted to do.
Hello? Am I still on, please?
You are on. Lucy, who I think you need to mute your, okay. Go ahead, please.
So, so it's to encourage other themes on our course so that it will encourage others to join. Also, we noticed that training has become one of the things that we need at the moment. Recently, there was a meeting, and that meeting was meant to get ideas from stakeholders, and also challenges that stakeholders are facing at the moment, a way to improve on our performance as an industry. Now, all these things is towards the minister's wish to making the industry one of the first foreign exchange in, because he believes that we have all what it takes. In spite of we have what it takes, that is the attractions we have, and on top of it all, it is a peaceful country. Definitely, one is talking about peace. A place where you can go to invest, a place where you can go to have what we call conferences and all that. Ghana is one first thing that comes to mind. So he believes that with all these things, we should be able to use this to our advantage to be able to make the country an attractive area. So all these things have been some of the policies, some of the efforts that the ministry have put together. Beyond that too, we are currently licensing tour guides in the country. Licensing tour guides in the country to ensure that tour guides who operate in the country are legally recognized by the Ghana Tourism Authority, an institution which was mentioned by my brother Felix. And all these things, all these efforts have been recognized by GATOF and have been recognized by the industry. So beyond this, then you will have all the industry players knowing very well that the stakeholders are being thought of in the first place to ensure that their activities are legalized in the country. Now, what makes these possible is that we believe that the sector has what it takes, because our industry or our tourism is different from what is being run in, let's say, East Africa and a place. Now, East Africa isn't running their tourism quite different from us. A case in point, we say that if you should, let's say, take a Chinese to Kenya, You don't need to speak Chinese as a tour guide or also a business person. If you take the Chinese to Masai Mara, then my Chinese knows that that's the line. You don't need to say anything. Our tourism is different. Our tourism is based on our culture. So you will need trained individuals with literature to be able to make meaning out of what people see. Beyond this, then it means that one is not really selling what we have. And we are doing this to make ours unique from what is being practiced elsewhere. And the only way to do this is to ensure that we package our very well. So since the 2019 COVID-19 event, these are some of the things that the government have done. But then one last thing had to do with the challenge right now is, as I mentioned, data. For instance, the data of having tours coming into the country, where sometimes one doesn't get to know which companies. A group can come in, and let's say with fellas business who needs to get business, and the tours come in and goes, and nobody knows. They will come spend the night at hotels and other places, but nobody knows which company it comes from. And the government is taking taxes from, of course, the tour operators, the hoteliers, all that. I would believe that if one is able to clamp down on all these things, then definitely when one is paying the taxes, one wouldn't complain too much about some of these taxes. One wants to pay the tax, but then if businesses that will bring the companies very revenue, and they'll be able to pay taxes out of this revenue, it's not coming to them, then it becomes a bit more difficult for them. So we talk so much about this. So currently, according to the Minister of Tourism, the minister himself, these efforts, we want to make sure that we put these plans in place to ensure that our tourism sector. But I must say that Ghana's tourism has a huge potential. Ghana tourism has a huge potential to the extent that we are a country that has almost everything. We have our waterfalls, we have everything. If you really want to have a taste of culture, I would say that Ghana is a place that you need to come to. It's a microcosm of everything. So with that, we cannot package our tours just like it's been done elsewhere. Our tourism should be Ghanaian based, and we need to look within ourselves to be able to see what we have and be able to harness these attractions, train individuals, put the value that we need to put on them, and then when we market them, these are going to be the very products that will bring revenue and also will cause others to also invest in tourism. We have others who have invested, sometimes they invest in tourism and then it becomes an issue because they are not really, the marketing aspect is very difficult. That is why the single window was launched, which was mentioned, my friend. Now, these single
Just
windows—
cutting in, short, you have 5 more minutes, so.
Okay, all right. This single window that was launched by the minister is okay. Before the single window, there was a previous one that has been launched already. That is for the tour guides. But the challenge that we noticed that these avenues for marketing businesses by the industry or the stakeholders, sometimes one gets to see that they are not at a level that can compete with the biggest platform where the big companies will go to. So one is wondering, is it just one wants to just make a point to say that I have logged you on this platform, so therefore you should be able to make money? Or is it just one wants to say that, listen, these are my checklists, I should be able to have done this, and that. That is a good idea, but we want to know whether beyond this, whether the results is going to be improved or is going to remain the same. We know that industry players need such platforms to be able to launch, to be able to promote their businesses. And once again, are these owners and individuals willing to avail themselves of new technology to be able to market their businesses elsewhere? But we believe that with all that we have, we should be able to do, because all these things are connected to education, are connected to training, constant training, education, and ensuring that we follow through all that we need to do to be able to compete with the outside world. We talk about best practices, and of course, we ensure that best practices from elsewhere is what we normally will base on so that we can also improve. But we are hoping that with all these things, Ghana's tourism will move to the level that we want it to move to, because we know we have the potential. So to your question, I would say that Ghana is ready. Ghana is ready to be able to compete with PAG. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have had both the statistics and a lot of practical initiatives that the government is attempting to put into effect. And we have also heard that we are looking at Ghana's own unique brand of tourism. And I think at this point, we will start the question and answer. If anybody has a question, a comment, we will go to it right away. I want to give as much time and opportunity for others to participate. So if there is a question.
Hello,
Sure.
I have a comment.
Yes, please go ahead.
I've posted some comments already that taxi drivers in Kumasi, for example, don't even know how to get to Bonvire, let alone a taxi driver in Accra knowing how to get to Kwato Abenyinase. And then there are some places like Ejumako Kokobeni, where there's carving, wood carving going on. These are not earmarked as tourist places. There are several Pusubai Asafo shrines along the coastal belt that sit there and year round, but it's only around Akwambo festivals that people get to see these Pusubai. The one that is popularly known is the one at Mankasim, but there are several others at Gomwa, Mankasim, Ebiram, all Srafa along the coastal belt that are calling for visitors year round. We don't need to wait till Akwambo for Asafu group at say Bobikuma to showcase their Pusubai and attract visitors to the area. So we need to be more innovative, focus on other things besides the castles, because these are not the only attractions in the country that we have.
Thank you very much for that. To continue, in fact, I want to just jump in if our speakers perhaps have an addition. You mentioned about Ghana developing its own brand of tourism. Basically, that's how I've termed it. There is obviously a lot that goes into that, but has Ghana categorized the different types of tourism? What exactly is the Ghana brand, if I can ask that question?
Thank you very much. We believe that the Ghana brand is dependent on, first of all, of what we have. We believe that, first of all, the festivals in the country is one brand that was one thing that the government can use to promote and also cover with the brand that we want. It's about our culture, the culture that we have. We cannot say that because maybe Spain has other means we're doing zip line here, and so we should have zip lines throughout the country. What we want to do is to look at what we have. If festival is one thing that we can use, then let's use the festival. Use the festival to promote other things around it, other attractions, and that becomes our brand. So with that, other things that makes the festival attractive, we can use them. That is why the minister was talking about the Feel Ghana, Eat Ghana, and Wear Ghana brand, because we feel that that could be the venue or the avenue to get others to get into the culture. But basically, the brand that we are trying to issue say that what makes Ghana unique? What makes Ghana, so mostly what comes to mind is, first of all, okay, our festival. And I agree, the castle, these are heritage sites, but we have more than beyond the castle, more beyond the castle. Our culture is one thing. For instance, you have other summer programs coming in that want to learn about what we call the homestay concept, where you will have to spend a night at the village and just observe how life is led in a day. Sometimes you have naming ceremonies, how naming ceremonies are done, the culture, how probably food are prepared during the day, how people go to fetch water and all that. And you put all these things together, you can just suppose this with other cultures, and you realize that maybe yours is quite unique. But since this is unique, you will want to use that as your own unique way of making yourself different from others, instead of you having other practices elsewhere that has no connection with you as a person or as a people, or when your name is mentioned, that comes to mind in the first place. There are others that, of course, we can say that since Ghana has maybe the canopy works, it's okay. There are other canopy works elsewhere, so we cannot say that's a brand for Ghana. As something that makes us quite unique from others, then that can be used as a brand for Ghana. So that is why I mentioned the festival as a first thing. Our way of dressing with the festival, that's our first number. We definitely, when you check in the whole world, there is no, I think, there's no culture that dresses like during our festival, have chiefs sitting in the queens. You have queen mothers and ladies dressed not traditional. You will have to find that. So these and others will become Ghana brand and also improve on it. Sometimes some of these things we have here, because one doesn't improve what it is, we are unable to make it more attractive. But when we are able to improve on what we have, which is our rich culture, then that rich culture becomes the Ghana's brand. I gave an example of saying that though might have you go to Kenya and the Chinese, but all these that we have needs to be explained. So that's why you need to train somebody to explain, to bring these to life, to make meaning out of it. And our culture, for me, is the brand that the ministry, is unique for Ghana. Then we don't have to look for what's been practiced elsewhere. But what we have is what we do, and that counts.
Okay.
A comment again, please.
Right, go ahead.
You talk about Ghana's culture. For example, most of our culture comes from the rural areas, or the rural bases serve as the base for our culture. Yet we do not promote tourism to these villages. For example, the Methodist Church took over a museum at Ampere Jumako in the central region. And when it was suggested to them that they build on the cultural link between the village and the church, they basically looked at the museum as a place for them to store the heritage of the Methodist Church. When they had not thought about building a place for themselves, and somebody had started and given them this place, they didn't see the link between the village and the church. It's not Ampere Jumako alone. You look at Abetifi, there's a link between Abetifi and the Presbyterian Church, because Abetifi is where Ramsay stayed at the Nsumankwahine's place when he was held captive before he was freed during the 1874 war. These places need to be highlighted, linking our culture to even the religions that have come to dominate our society now. Methodist Church, again, had to rely on the local songs, also Krodo and other Asafo songs as a bibinjum for people to become members of the church. Now it's like if we don't sing the snow has fallen snow on snow and midwinter Christmas carols, it's like we didn't have a religion before they came in. These are some aspects of our culture that we need to promote to attract people to see what we have. Not only foreigners, but even to encourage our school children to realize that we have something worthy of knowledge. We don't show link between our weaving of kente cloth and mathematics. We don't show, links between making metal cast, abramu, and what we teach in science and other places. We don't even talk about the link between appetition making and chemistry.
Can I comment, please? Can I comment, please?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Kujata, I agree with you perfectly. I agree with you. I know that there's a lot that we need to do as a country. There's a lot. We know that our communities, our regions have a lot of tourism potentials. And in fact, initially, I even decided to talk about our community tourism in our role of tourism development. There's a lot in the communities that we need to develop. I would say that even some of our tour operators do not even have knowledge about the existence of some of these things. But it's all about education. It's all about researching and finding the existence of all these things in our communities and be able to see how you can translate some of these things into our tourism potential that we have made reference to. And I agree with you because we know we have a lot, to the extent that if we are able to develop some of these things, first, there won't be this rural urban migration that will stop. Secondly, we know that that will bring jobs in the community. Definitely that will make the villages very popular. There's a village in Ghana where through naming ceremony overnight stay. So when you hit Facebook right now, you find that because of the numbers of people that have come there because of the unique culture. So I agree with you. The linkages are very important, and these are things that we need to be working on. There's a lot that we need to do, but I believe that our tourism is dependent on our communities. Our communities are the one that houses all these attractions, and the ministry's DTA's difficulty, they made an attempt of licensing all these attractions, but the difficulty, first of all, had to do sometimes the ownership of these attractions in the communities, because sometimes you realize, okay, you need a district assembly, you need opinion leaders, and you want to find out the land on which that is. So I agree with you. Tourism, we have a lot to develop, and all the point you made, they are all valuable, and I agree with you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, Phyllis, can I make a few comments?
Please
Thank
do.
you very much, Aoku and Felix, for leading us through this sort of really complex industry, because there's so many dimensions. But I've always had, my first question to both of you would be, I've heard about the potential of tourism for about 25 years. So since both of you have been in the industry for this long, what progress have we really made in the last 20 years or so? Substantive progress in tourism, whether it is philosophical, whether it is economic, whether it is infrastructural, okay? Because for me, one of the main things is that a tourist is somebody who travels to another place to learn, to advance themselves, and to enjoy themselves. That is what a tourist is. So when a tourist comes to a place and basic sanitation is a problem, right? Why would they travel across the ocean and arrive at a place where if they are traveling in a vehicle and they need to use a bathroom, they cannot find one? You know, fundamentally, this is the experience of a tourist in Ghana. It's a very common experience. You know, people sometimes have to rush into a private home off the street
because somebody ate some shito in Accra, and then by the time they reached Mankesim, they are in serious trouble. And you know, these are, I think, basic infrastructure for tourism from about 20 years ago, in my experience, still hasn't improved very much, okay? I think Dr. Arthur is talking more about some of the philosophical issues, which are also extremely important. How we present ourselves. Sometimes people, you know, sometimes I encounter guides who present, they present us apologetically to foreigners. Let me put it that way. You know, they don't even understand the culture, Auku, that you are talking about, that they are projecting sometimes. They really do not educate the visitor as well as they should. We also have to understand that we are competing for a tourism dollar outside. You know, that is a person who wants to go on holidays has to decide, am I going to Jamaica? Am I going to Iceland? Or am I going to Ghana? So we are competing on the global scale for that money. And that doesn't seem to come across in the policies that, you know, the things that you say the minister is talking about and those things, that seems to me not to be clear to policymakers in Ghana, that you are competing for a finite amount of money that people have to spend to visit other countries. And so you have to be extremely competitive. You really have to be providing comforts that are basic. I mean, that really should, you know, the sanitation thing, I think, is one of our biggest problems. And I don't know if you think it has improved in the last 20 years. And I'll leave that to you. The other little comment I want to make is, again, speaking to some of what all of you have spoken about, it seems that we don't have a process from the local government level about tourism. That is where every locality, every district looks at what is the tourism potential in our district and then move it in a policy format to the regional level and then to the national level so that we can develop a tourism policy that is informed by local reality. I mean, you know, so that the people, the locality themselves tell us what they have that they would like to develop, that they would like to showcase, that they would like the government to support. I don't know if that is happening. Again, that is a question for both of you. I have all these questions because I don't want to speak after this. And as for the French signs, for me, it's a non-starter. Because when I go to Italy, they don't have fancy signs for me. You go to a place to learn about the place, not to make it like your home. You know, if you eat McDonald's in America, you come to Ghana, at least you eat kelewele. I mean, that's the idea of travel. That's the idea of tourism. So menus in French, I'm sorry, it's not on. They need to learn to pronounce some Ghana words, some fancy words. Then they will know that they have visited Ghana and left Abidjan or wherever they're coming from. Thank you. So I have some questions which I've laid out to both of you. So you can take them as you wish.
Okay, can we let me, yes, Mr. Ngwa, you go ahead and then we'll come back to.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I would like to answer the questions posed by Dr. Olsen. Yeah, you were asking what progress we've made in the last 20 years in the field of tourism. As far as I know, the tourism we are practicing in Ghana, in my opinion, is static. Static in the sense that we are not trying to introduce innovative ideas and also products to vary the experiences guests who come to our country have. All because most of the time people who are at the helm of affairs are themselves not tourism professionals.
They don't understand the field.
Their own agenda. So they see the job as a public service work and they are in policy positions. So they are not able to come out with clear policies to help the private sector to grow. Now, on the local front, where the local people are supposed to be given the opportunity to introduce what or talk about what they want to sell. In the municipal assemblies, we have tourism subcommittees there, but most of them are doing practically nothing. Then also the attractions in the communities are themselves not valued by the people in the community. For example, when you come to Elmina, we have very beautiful landscape and natural features. When you see the Benya Lagoon, for example, you will be astonished. People throw rubbish into it and everybody keeps quiet. But this is what is bringing us the revenue.
Exactly.
And as an individual, you have no control. Why? Why? Because in the past, this was not the attitude of the people. We were conscious of our environment and we have reverence for natural features. Now, as a result of Western education and Christianity, we look down upon our own culture and what we need to protect for posterity. All these have contributed to the pollution of our water bodies, the deforestation going on. So I think we need a reorientation as a people, because for now, I think we don't know ourselves. Then I would like to also comment on Ghana trying to brand the country through festivals or our culture. Well, it is fine, but I think we've gotten it wrong. Ghana's strength for me is in the transatlantic slave trade. So it is very important for us to build on our strength, do it better so that it will be attractive, and from the revenue that we have, we could progress or proceed to developing other resources like the Posuban that Dr. Atta talked about. I, for one, I am a tour operator, and in my itinerary preparations, I promote a lot of the Posubans. So I have a package I've titled Posuban Journey 2020. And the local people themselves do not show interest. We had projects to support us renovate the Posuban, and it did not get anywhere. And as an individual, you don't have any power, you don't wield any power to be able to speak for people to hear your voice. So the challenges are many, so we need to do a lot. And I think the outcomes of what we discuss should find their way to the table of the present tourism minister. Thank you.
Okay. Before we go on to ask Mr. Uku to comment, I just want to also point out, you talk a lot about the different areas that we should focus on. And yet we also talk about Ghana taking advantage of all we have. And we have pretty much, we have the sunshine, we have water bodies, and so there are so many areas that we basically could take advantage of, whether it's the private sector or government partnerships or what have you. Is it not important in terms of your tourism development to categorize all the different areas that Ghana has strength in, and then have a framework of how to go about developing each of these areas to our benefit, because they are all revenue generating initiatives that Ghana, can benefit from. And when we talk about having Ghana's own particular brand and differentiating ourselves, I don't think, if we're talking about the culture, we have our own culture. Yes, we can talk about cultural tourism, or we can talk about in particular, the transatlantic slave trade. But that is, I think, what the focus has been in Ghana. And it has been that way, to the exclusion of so much more. I would like you to comment on the fact that Ghana, has the beaches, they have the different places where there's bead making, the different medical, natural medicines, and the trees and eco and whatever. Should we not be categorizing it so that we can focus our attention on what needs to be developed when? And with everything you talked about, I didn't hear a time frame within all of that either. Can you speak to that as you answer the question, Mr. Hirinchi? Can you maybe take that up? You're muted. You're muted.
Okay. I left some, but I think I got the thrust of all that you're saying. I would like to go back with the idea of Ghana's brand. It was an example I said, for instance, Ghana's festival, but I wasn't making the point that that should be, but I would just say that we should look at what we have and use it, and then that becomes our brand. So I wasn't making that point. Dr. Olsen, I agree with you with the point that Ghana's progression with our tourism, I think, I don't know whether
you're cutting out.
Yeah, you're not coming in clearly.
It looks like we are losing connection with you. You've been cutting out, so we're not hearing you.
Please, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
It's better, yes, but yeah, we lost a lot of what you were saying. Yeah.
I'll go back. I was saying that with Dr. Olsen's question about our development since 20 years, you are right, though. It is. I think the pace of the tortoise is really faster than ours. It is very, very slow. And I think I agree with Felix's point about, see, we have all the policies. Every year, there is some meeting of a sort, bringing an expert to deliberate on all this forward. And sometimes one gets tired attending some of these meetings. Because all we believe that all these ideas have been tabled, there are many of them recorded, documented on the end. One gets tired. So why can't we get this moving? And indeed, that comes to that point of saying that those working in the ministry, at the point we conclude, I don't think you are tourism-driven individuals. We believe that these are individuals, of course. They are public workers who need to be paid. But sometimes you find these same individuals at the same meeting that these topics are being discussed by different maybe a minister, but you find these individuals present at these meetings who were present maybe 4 or 5 years ago, or 3 years ago at least. And you expect that these should be policies that should be sometimes these are initiatives that you can, but as to why these things do not translate into physical thing on the ground, it baffles one. Except that maybe when every year just have to throw it away because some funds come in, so let's find another new thing and give it a different heading for us to maybe get it. And these are things that sometimes it baffles over. And we are, because you're right, even if we made some progress, the progress is extremely slow. The progress is extremely slow. As to the categorization of what we have, you are so right. I have heard experts talk about this categorization. It has come at certain meetings. We have talked about that individuals. But when you take these things to the GTA, and you're talking about something, they take you back to, see, we don't have the funds. We don't have the funds. But the point is that we have not engaged the locals who sit around these attractions to get the attention to some of these things and see how. I have had chiefs who will call me and tell me after we've done a program at your place, such as adults or you go to adults, they tell you, what can we do to do this? It tells you that the knowledge about tourism is unavailable to them. It hasn't reached them. And I'm quite sure that if we should get to them, all these communities and local, and tell them how important tourism is, and if we are able to turn our attention, by turning your attention definitely means that you need to first educate them about what is around them and how they can approach it and how important that can be to them. That is missing. We all start from a distance and say that these are available, these can help, but that is missing. What we talk about is definitely, of course, the castles or not, but the castles are not the only ones. They are not, we can use it. It is, we have used over the years. Panafest, emancipation, but there are others beyond the castle, and there's a lot. So the categorization of it, indeed, if we, let's say from 2000, let's say from during Kofo's time, 2000, if we had adopted this idea and initiated them from maybe one district community student, I'm quite sure we will be able to get maybe about 20 or 30 of them by now, and to give people a reason why they must maybe concentrate in tourism and all that. A few tour operators will do it in our own. That is why I was saying that single window that people have to, the single window, I tell you, you will find so many tour operators who might be doing the same thing over there, but cannot be innovative enough with what they have so that they will look different from what others have been doing. Others have been promoted. It means that they themselves lack the knowledge to identify what is available and what can sell and what can make others live less explain another place and then come here. That is why we find certain European, let's say the Dutch and will come and go to, let's say, the Volta region because of what they find in certain village, how unique that is, and that's what they want to do. We have done tours and groups want to come and see only maybe 9th century stuff and don't want to see the city. They just want to go to the village and experience that. So I believe that indeed the segmentation of it is a thing to do. And if we are able to educate the local assembly, the district assembly, the chiefs and people about this, the progress may be slow. I tell you, maybe the next 4 or 5 years, we would have gone beyond where we are than to make it all the time a talk shop, all the time we have this, back and end. Essentially, so sometimes people get tired, and that is why you have others who say, listen, I'm tired of the industry, I want to go and do something else. Not because the industry doesn't have potential, but because of the policy direction that doesn't seem to have weight to be able to move it to where it's supposed to be as it has been served, passionately, aggressively, assertively, but you don't get to see the evidence of it. So that becomes a bit more difficult. And the development, yes, some few. So that's a debate. I agree. Segmentation, yes. But all in all, see, even if you want to do it as an individual, you need the government to come in. But it is just one effort. But if the government can come and say, recently they went in for, I think there was some grant or so, a way to develop the tourism attraction. The ones that want to develop the same old, go to Asemman, so these are the people. But ideas of finding where the rest are and then bringing them to the knowledge of, and then developing harness and make it more attractive. Then we will not have the usual itineraries being drawn by tour operators doing the same old thing, same old thing, same old thing. So sometimes one comes to Ghana, one to say, well, I've seen all that in Ghana, I can't go to Ghana again. But there's a lot that people, so all in our thing is about bringing the expertise, and then table or put on table what we have. Let's identify and get them out and see how we can, but by doing so, you need the locals, the chiefs, the district assembly, you need them. And I agree with you, because sometimes one gets tired of talking about it. I agree with you. That is the way to, if we're able to segment them, then that becomes a model for the others. It becomes a model for other districts. It becomes a model. We have several themes. It could be the church. It could be eco tours. It could be so many of them. And I agree with you, ma'am. I do agree.
Right. Thank you for that. Is there anyone else that would like to?
I have a question. I have a question, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you for the comment, lady and gentlemen. What I want to know is, what is the government looking to do about maybe licensing the tour operators that are coming into Ghana? Living in the US, there are a lot of African American tourisms. I mean, they're doing these curated tours and they're bringing a lot of people into Ghana. What is the government, willing to do? Or are they aware of the lost revenue as a result of this?
Ms. Ngua, would you like to take that, please?
Please, can I come in?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for that wonderful observation. I think that is an area the government has overlooked over the years. And the policies that we have seem to focus only on the local or the Ghanaian tour operators. We do not have systems that check those who are coming from outside without license in their country. So personally, I think there should be a policy that when an outside operator is bringing visitors to Ghana, the person needs to collaborate or team or partner with a Ghanaian operator to be able to run the tour or implement in their country. These are all areas that the policymakers have overlooked. So it is very important for us to draw their attention to that. Thank you.
A comment on that.
Yes.
There are some foreign-based tour operators. If I were to mention a name, there is one called ABBA Tours.
Yes.
That brings in people from the US at least twice a year. And then some of the universities also, through their study abroad programs, capture these people under their ambit, and what monies are paid through them don't go into public coffers. So if we are going to cast the net broad, we need to find out who these operators are and what programs do they bring their people under. If it's a study abroad program, are they paying fees directly to the university, or are they paying fees to some individuals who are, have connected with the universities to sponsor these programs? For example, in the 60s and 70s, when Operation Crossroads Africa were bringing in people as volunteers, somebody else in the social welfare department set up something to bring some of these people under his wings, under what they call experimenters in international living. And monies that would have gone into institutions like the Voluntary Welcomes Association or the Ministry of Social Welfare and Community Development were going to personal pockets. So we need to look at all these things to see how best communities, not just the central government, will benefit. The Mankasim Pusuban, for example, there are always people there that when you stop your vehicle to even take a photograph, they will come to you and ask that you pay something. How does that money help to maintain that Pusuban shrine, or how does that money go into the coffers of the district assembly or whatever? These are some of the things that if we localize things through the district assemblies, maybe we'll be able to regularize things to benefit the communities as well as the country. So, I mean, we need to look at all these things as Dr. Olsen said, we need to understand the philosophy behind what is it that we are doing, and then develop policies accordingly. But if we are just focusing on the trans-Atlantic trade, we may be losing out on our links to Indonesia, for example. When they celebrated the 300 years of link between the Dutch, Asante, and the Caribbean, it wasn't just looking at the transatlantic trade, but the cultural heritage created as a result of this. So we need to, understand what is it we are doing and develop policies accordingly. Otherwise, we may be doing knee-jerk reaction. How much foreign currency can we attract, rather than what is it that we are building that will enhance our way of living?
Thank you for that.
Please, can
Yes.
I make a quick comment?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Please, the volunteers, why government is losing revenue from the volunteers who come and go on tours? They mostly come through NGOs. And as part of our policy, NGOs do not pay tax. So people try to run the tours through the NGOs. They come as volunteers, and before you see, they are on tour without seeking any professional assistance from a registered tour operator. So there is a loophole there is a gap in that area. So I think the government should concentrate and do something about that. Thank you.
All right. Yes.
Can I add, or time is up?
Yes, please do.
Okay. The concept of tour operators bringing tours into the country, and then sometimes I feel that you are at meetings, and these are ideas that we have thrown to the GT ministries over and over again. That sometimes it looks like when you talk about some of these, oh, we've had and nothing is going to happen. Yet it is looking for money to do research about a sector and find what's going on in the sector and tells us happening. And at 1% tourism level is what they are depending on right now to do all these things. But we're telling them that there's a lot of revenue in the country that we can easily tap into. Now, you don't even have a research department. If you have a research department, these that we are talking about, you would have known that tours come into the country. There are some countries where you go to and you are not a local tour operator. The tours cannot enter into the country because the local tour operator pay taxes. Now, if you are able to bring out policies ensuring that from the airport, the laws are made clear, the immigration everybody knows, because the information you fill, the tour operator who is handling over here, whatever tour operator you write there, whatever name you write, they should be able to know this tour operator is a legal registered company and definitely coming to. So that business itself is legal. That will make it such a way that those who intend to do those legal will not go, and therefore if someone is paying taxes, you know that this tax that I'm paying is going to go for good use. These ideas have been propounded over and over again, and that's the one I get to. I guess because it's more like just hitting yourself over and over again. Why can't people know and get all? Because it's either one has refused to avail himself to do some of these things for the handlers of the industry, or listen, forget about whatever it is, it will never work. And it has been like this. It has always been like so. Sometimes it gets a bit more frustrating talking about some of these things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Ministry of Tourism.
Go ahead, Jack.
Asleep. Thank you. Ministry of Tourism is falling asleep. They need an IT arm because a lot of these tours are, on social media. A lot of it are in social media. Some are on YouTube. Some are on IG. The point is they're out there in the public ether for people to easily find out about it. So if people are able to find out about it, why can't Ghana government or Ministry of Tourism find out that there are a number of organized tours coming into their shores, for these particular dates? Why can't they do that? Because it's out there. I mean, question.
That's a good question, and one that I think I can see that our speakers have spoken to it, and it's something they're going to have to either take back to figure out, or some other policy is going to have to be developed.
Yeah,
Dr. Olson, did you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to, just add to the point that Jackson brought about, the companies that come in from the outside. Clearly, we have a regulatory problem. And again, they're just innovative solutions. After all, you know where they're coming from. They're going to get a visa from a Ghana embassy somewhere. So if there's a levy or something, you can apply it at that point, but the thing is, make sure that the funds go to the industry that it's supposed to go to. I mean, that's just one thought. There are many other things, but I would just like to say that, when we started talking, both Felix and Auku, I was listening to them, and I in the beginning I was thinking, I mean, I think it's really that great, and that's why I had to be so provocative about it. I think we have to be transparent about our difficulties. I mean, this is why we have these discussions, so that we can put our heads together and find solutions. But in many ways, I think that those of you like Felix and Auku who are in the industry, have to find partners who might, help get grants from foundations that could be interested in aspects of what you're doing, and you have to strike out on your own and help the communities that will support your industry, if you see what I mean. I mean, invest in those communities, but we have to find ways to do so to keep your livelihood and your business going and to promote tourism in Ghana. Because one of the areas we haven't talked about at all is the huge employment potential for young people if they are well trained and if they are well oriented at in their communities to be champions of tourism in their communities. We haven't even touched that at all. I mean, and we all know the huge graduate unemployment situation in the country. There are all these young people who are educated, who don't have work to do, and there's essentially income around them, but they don't have eyes to see, right? So I think leaders like you in the industry have a lot of work to do. Really, I'm sure you're also burnt out. You are frustrated and tired. But I think instead of talking to the ministry, you should be relating more directly with the communities, because I think that is where eventually the gold is. Both for them and for you. That's what I would like to say.
I have some comments on the chat, if you're ready for me.
Yes.
Yeah, but before that, I also have my own comment that I wanted to make, that most of what we're talking about, we're singing the same song, but in different tunes, in the sense that not all the districts and regions have the same natural resources or places of attraction. So in that sense, you welcome everything. And then based on the interest, because of course, variety is the spice of life. Some people would like to go to the mountains like Afejato, others would like to go to the beaches. So locally, where is the revenue going to come from? So you develop it based on the environmentally guided designs and places of attraction, so that all the districts or the regions can enjoy that revenue and part for the nation. That has to be done by the Ghana tourism, or whether the government or policies. But I think that now we have a lot. Dr. Olsen asked a very basic question, the infrastructure. Where do you go to ease yourself? You drive down from Accra to the north, or from Accra to central region or anywhere in Takoradi, where are the places where somebody can ease yourself when you're going to a place? And now we have a lot of machines that can sink boreholes. The graduates are out there, they have no jobs. Get some partnership and build some places of restrooms. Let them run those areas. And then they have a say, I mean, it's linked to the tourism industry. This is something that can easily be done and boost jobs.
You've muted yourself.
And with that, I'll now go to the chat.
Okay.
Mr. Stephen Cornell said that there are lots of Chinese tourists. Are they attracted to Ghana at all? We know they are into a lot of galamsey and destroying our environment, but I'll let you speak. You are on the ground.
Anybody with a contribution to that?
The Chinese are in the country for more than just the galamsey. They are looking for job opportunities for themselves. That's why when they are given, say, road construction project, they bring in their own workers. I haven't been there yet, but I'm told a place like Wasa Ekropong, they even have their own entertainment centers run by their women. And so they are not just there for the galamsey, and they don't come into Ghana without passing through our embassies. So for us to think that the Chinese are there because they are there to help us, we need to find out what is it that they're helping us with or helping us in, and decide whether that's the kind of things we need to have them engage in. I'm reading something that says, you go to Dakar, Senegal, for instance, petty trading has been taken over by the Chinese. Something that Indians, Portuguese, Greeks, and Syrians used to do in Ghana, that's been done by the Chinese now. So it's more than galamsey that the Chinese are there to do in our country. And we need to look at these things and see whether these things serve our interest or they, serve to keep us in a place that,
servitude.
They serve to undermine us, basically.
All right, thank you. Any other comments?
Yes, there is one that's asking, based on what we talked about, I'll read it out. How do we tour the country safely without reliable roads and facilities? It still goes into the
infrastructure.
There is one.
You're muted. Okay.
That's all I have on the chat.
That's all. Okay. Is there anyone else who has a comment? Can you please share the presenter's email? Okay. One of the questions that we have is whether or not the presenters would be willing to share their email. So would it be okay for them, for us to share your email with the audience? All right. So if anybody is looking, Mr. Yenchi, is that okay with you? I'm not. You're muted.
I think he says yes.
I said that's fine. That's okay with me.
All right. So please leave your comment, and Dr. Sola, if you can please make a note of those who requested, and we will make sure they get it.
Yeah, they can leave your name on the chat, and then we'll link you up.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? This is a very broad topic, and I'm glad that Dr. Olson brought up, because I actually was listening to the presentation, and I found myself also asking in terms of where the government funding or the government, the whole development over the 20 years, because I mean, both of you speakers know I have my own family brother within the industry as well, and I'm also in the industry. And my personal experience also going back the last 20 years, I haven't experienced the progress. So I was wondering myself, when you were both speaking, it says, this seems very rosy, and I'm not sure that's the experience I've been having. So I was happy to hear Dr. Olsen make his point. But if anybody else has any other comment, experience, please go ahead.
Can I ask a question very quick? Please.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. How ecotourism is one thing that is really becoming popular around the world. How is the Kalamse, Chinese Kalamse exercises in the various parts of the country affecting the prospects for developing ecotourism? And what is government doing about it?
That's a big one.
Okay. Let me say this, that when it comes to the Chinese destruction of our environment, I think the approach from the government has been, okay, I mean, we need to stop that because they are destroying the environment, and therefore they are also destroying the livelihoods of our farmers, cocoa, etc. But there hasn't been any link to ecotourism, the development of ecotourism, the development of the concept of eco, because ecotourism itself in certain areas is a new concept. Fortunately, I'm part of a committee of which I'm the chairman from EPA, that we are developing a new ecotourism paper for the tourism sector. There's nothing like that at the moment. So with the Chinese galamsey, the talk has been to stop the galamsey, to restore it, and also to ensure that the rural livelihood, I mean, and also in connection with the national, like in terms of the cocoa plantation, etc., is restored. But there hasn't been any ecotourism, though it's been read, a few has been written about in documents, in magazines, by government, but it hasn't been a major topic for development or to see as a major addition to our tourism potential for that development. But there has been talk around, but tour companies or tour operators or individuals who know of it are doing their own bit. They have initiated that move and they are doing their own bit in selling it, and that has bringing them some more revenue. But in terms of the broad discussion of it, as a that hasn't come up. But we talk about it in small pockets or meeting here. There hasn't been any major connection from the government in terms of the destruction of our environment to see that will be a major setback to our eco-development concept.
Okay.
Okay.
Before I bring in Mr. Ngua, I'm just wondering, considering, I know you say there've not been much discussion on the government level. It's a little bit surprising, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I may have a different notion of what ecotourism is all about. Given our different bird sanctuaries and forest reserves and so on in Ghana, we have so many different aspects that would contribute to ecotourism. Is that not the case? We have these so many different aspects of ecotourism. So I'm a little bit surprised that it hasn't come up as a big topic, or even a topic since it's been out in the global sphere. As Dr. also mentioned, we are always competing on a global, a global terrain. And so when things are out there, shouldn't it perhaps highlight for the policymakers or the industry that it's something maybe we should look at a bit more? I'll let you speak, Mr. Ngua. I know you're in the area as well.
Thank you. When we talk of ecotourism, it depends on how one defines it. Because ecotourism is, to some people, for example, to Thais, Ecotourism Association. Some people define ecotourism to include the culture and the history, and it is not limited only to the environment. So if one considers the other aspects of the culture and history to be part of ecotourism, then in a nutshell, I would say that we are, as a country, all the tourism we are practicing is part of ecotourism and not limited only to nature. That is the perspective of some other people. Now, I would like to make a comment on the Chinese destruction of our environment. That is a very wrong impression that we are creating. It is not the Chinese, but they are doing that in collaboration with our own people. Absolutely. So I would say generally, there is no sincerity in the system. Everybody is fighting for survival. How can the Chinese come from their country and be able to identify the areas where we have the forest and resources and others? And also the chiefs, some of the chiefs are in bed with the Chinese. The government has made several efforts, to correct this, but the fight is getting nowhere. So I would respectfully draw our attention to the fact that the Chinese, yes, they are part of it, but they are doing that in collaboration with their Ghanaian counterparts. So not until we stand up to the challenge and think forward and protect the environment for our future, the destruction continues. And once the environment is destroyed, our tourism is also gone. Currently, we've lost most part of our beaches because now we are building breakwaters along most part of our beaches. So when I hear of beach tourism, it sounds laughable to me. So, and many of the people are also winning sand from the beaches. So the ocean is taking over the land. This is what has caused the building of breakwaters along most part of our beaches. So the problem lies with us Ghanaians. This is how I see the problem. Thank you.
Yeah, talking about that, the mention of bird sanctuary, the Rancilia Bird Sanctuary based on the Sakumo Lagoon is being destroyed, not by Chinese Galamsey, but by encroachment of builders on the lagoon, so that the lagoon is basically dying and the birds are leaving the area. And this is not Chinese making. So as you rightly mentioned, we are the source of the problem ourselves. And we need to look ourselves in the eye before we look for the straw in the eyes of the Chinese.
That is very true.
I think again the Chinese ambassador even the Chinese ambassador even concluded, listen, it is not the Chinese that led, it is not the Chinese that went there themselves. Ghanaians led them there. So you cannot blame the Chinese for doing so. But all in all, I think we are being selfish because as long as one's pocket is sold, one cares less about the benefits, the general benefits.
One question which may not be seen as regarding tourism is the question of copyright for creativity as craftspeople and as artists in general. People making Adinkra symbols, for example, people carving wood, for example, all the creativity of these people is considered property of the president or taken care of by the president. How can that be?
The intellectual property of the local artisans.
That's right.
Yes.
It's considered as folklore and therefore taken care of by the president. And the president hasn't created anything.
Any protections.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I think it's very related to tourism, but it's another whole big area that we may have to do under another session. And we've done more than one session on numerous topics, and I'll leave this to Phyllis, but I think that we are, where is Phyllis? Is she gone? She seems to have dropped off.
No, I'm here.
No. Phyllis Bourne, our moderator. Yeah, I think she's had a technical thing. I think she may have dropped off. But in any event, yeah, we probably will have another session on tourism and address maybe some other aspects that we've not been able to touch on today. I think today we've had an overview of a number of things. We've sort of had a taste, appetizers here and there, but I think we definitely will have to have another session where probably we can begin to look more at some of the policy possibilities that have come out of today's discussion, more deeply. I think so, but I think it's been a great conversation. Phyllis is not here. Yen, you are the one who runs these sessions, so are you there? And maybe you can bring it to a close because we've reached our 2-hour mark. Yeah.
Yeah, I think no, but I open, so you close it, yeah, please.
So you think I should continue closing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Look. Okay. Well, in the absence of Phyllis, I hope she's okay. I think it's probably just a technical thing. We definitely thank all of you for joining. We want to thank our speakers, Felix Ngwa and Aokwi Renchi, both of whom I've worked with for many years in this very difficult field of ours. We will definitely continue to do this work. All of these policy series are recorded. We store them on YouTube, and so both of you speakers can access them and disseminate them to people. Anybody can do that. You just go into YouTube and you just type in Progressive Alliance for Ghana, and all the policy series will come up, and you can go ahead and have them. They are stored, and we will also continue to disseminate them. So we thank you very much, and we will let you know what our next topic will be in 6 weeks. And so everybody have a good weekend wherever you are. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, evening, or morning. Thank you. Oh, Phyllis, you are back.
We've already closed.
We just closed in your absence because we didn't know what happened to you.
Yeah. Came back, she said, not so fast.
My internet dropped out.
Okay, something happened, yes.
Yeah, so, I noticed I was freezing, and I saw that, yes, it was just about time. So I was just about finishing, and then we would wrap up, and then.
Yes, so I thanked everybody, and just as we were going to leave, you showed up. So.
Yeah, all right. Well, then
Thank
It's
you.
just as well. So thank everybody, and thank you for. I knew you would, quickly pick it up, but I don't know what happened there.
Okay. All right.
We
Well,
are
thanks
most
everybody.
grateful.
Okay.
Thank you all, and hopefully.
Yeah, but just a last one point. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Somebody did put his name or her name. 24th, we have an induction for people who want to be part of us. So if you are in this group and you want to be part of us to make a contribution to what we are doing, please, 24th, the same time, yeah, we'll be publicizing it.
All right.
Yeah, at least we'll have their contact information, so perhaps we can conduct.
Send them an invitation.
Send them an invitation. Normally we do some screening through telephone interviews, but we can do it some other way. So please make sure that we have your contact information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
So thank you all very much, and my apologies for my internet interruption there.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Love you, darling.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.